Whether good, bad, or SPILO'd, every Survivor season is held in high to low regard by every Survivor fan. But as someone great once said, Survivor is like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's good. So even the worst Survivor seasons have a best part, and we'll be exploring the best part of all 44 Survivor seasons. Borneo is unlike any other season. It's the first season, and so the groundwork for Survivor history is seen right here. The first alliance is formed, and strategies such as begonging, block voting, and so forth are first utilised. Considering every other season follows and expands on the strategy from Borneo, fans may enjoy seeing the origins of Survivor blueprints being created in front of their eyes. The Australian Outback is the most viewed Survivor season, and a huge chunk of that is its cast. There are many legends in Season 2. A testament of this is the fact that 5 of them returned on Survivor All-Stars, the most returning Survivor contestants ever from one original season, and a further 2 after All-Stars. 5 cast members have also played 3 times. Considering it's only a 16-person cast, that's damn impressive. Moreover, the season still had its fair share of one-time players that the fandom still wants to return, like Roger, Elizabeth, and Kel. The big 3 in Survivor Africa are the names given for Tom, Lex, and Ethan. Considering they all returned for All-Stars, it's just a reflection of how great their dynamics were on the season. We have Tom saying Ethan can't eat the ham because he's a Jew, Lex and Tom getting drunk on an air balloon, and who can forget the GOAT reward with Ethan and Lex. As much as Jeff Probst knocks Marquesas for its lack of action, this is the first season where a major flip occurred. The turn on the Road 2-4 was a clear example that the game had turned from an us versus them mentality, and the strategy had officially evolved. No longer were tribes lines definitive, and players like Kathy, Nalia, and Pascal showed you can side with the enemy to get closer to the top. Plus, it also gave hope to many other underdog Survivor contestants. While there are lots of negatives to bring up with Thailand, the Attack Zone Challenge may go down as the funniest challenge, despite it being completely unintentional. Barely anyone understood the rules of this game, leading up to Soup Chai constantly having their members disqualified. Ken made out of contact of the Attack Zone, and then Rob, in his infinite wisdom, follows that up by attempting first-degree murder on Clay. And he wasn't even in the Attack Zone. While some of Rob Sesternino's commentary hasn't aged super well, it's undeniable he is a star of the Amazon. His bitey confessionals were hilarious and inspired many contestants to adopt more snarky personas. The Pearl Islands, despite being 20 years old, still is the strongest theme in my opinion. The pirate theme was a massive sandbox that contestants could play around with. Many of the challenges plus twists explore the pirate theme, and I personally feel Rupert is such a beloved figure in Survivor because he embraced this theme the most, such as pillaging or spearfishing. All-Stars is an incredibly dark season, but the main payoff is seeing the birth of an iconic romance. And the birth of 4 mini Ambers, but that's down the line. This is by far the most iconic showmance on Survivor, with the contestants of fan-made Survivors, or even the actual show, referencing how they want to pull a Rob and Amber 2.0. Considering Rob and Amber's relationship is still going strong to this day, it is wholesome seeing this season as the origins of what they have now become. Who doesn't love an underdog, especially when it's seeing one man, severely outnumbered, having to go up against 6 women. Seeing Chris weaseling past round after round, with some of the best BS the show has seen, is an absolute highlight. The entirety of Palau's pre-merge can be summed up in one word: Oolong. Never has a tribe struggled as much as Oolong. The entire tribe was a train wreck, resulting in everyone but Stephanie being eliminated. It was such an insane feat that there wasn't even a merge. Stephanie was simply absorbed into the majority Kaoh tribe. While Guatemala is considered the most forgettable season by casuals, the amount of mayhem that unfolds is an underrated part of Season 11. We have Bobby John and Jamie's explosive arguing, Judd hoping everyone gets bitten by a freaking crocodile, Cindy talking about her brand new car constantly, Lydia's pancake dance, the list goes on. Survivor Panama. There's only one answer. The Kasaya 6 alliance will probably remain the biggest anomaly in Survivor history. Between Shane screaming, Sari clearly hating every second, Danielle's arguments, and whatever Courtney was doing, it's rather shocking that this group of misfits somehow managed to largely dominate the game. From domination to survivability, the Cook Islands gave us the I-2-4 alliance. This group contained Ozzy, Becky, Sandra and Yule, with their small group of 4 having to go up against up to 8 opponents. Thanks to the God Idol alongside Penner, the group of 4 went against the odds, thus locking their spots into the final 4. This is probably the biggest zero to hero arc, I might also add it helps that all 4 of the underdogs were presented as super likeable for their own individual reasons, which made supporting them super easy. As noted by Jeff, Fiji was massively helped by Dreams, Yawman, and I'd also like to add in the winner Earl Cole. These 3 were pretty much the only interesting contestants on the cast with a card deal, and it's cool to see Earl's extremely strong winning game, which rewards him with the first unanimous win. If there's ever an award for the best roast in Survivor, Courtney would no doubt win it. Despite the ickiness in China, Courtney's constant bashing of contestants was always a joy. In fact, Courtney is considered so highly by the fandom that she won a competition against every runner-up in Survivor. So if you're interested in the results of other runners-up, then make sure to check out this video on the channel. Micronesia was largely dominated by a female group, still recognisable today by the name of the Black Widows. This is one of, if not the most iconic, alliances, pulling off Big Blindside after Big Blindside. It also gave us Eric giving up immunity, which Survivor has used in so many promotional packages for following seasons. And now Eric probably has PTSD, so there's that. I have to come clean, for my video where I covered the worst parts of every season, I called out Gabon for its lack of strategy. But that's also the strength. Gabon is an absolute train wreck of strategy, and as infuriating as it can be to see so many misplays, it also makes it completely different to any other season. Honestly, considering Gabon is such a weird season, it makes sense that its biggest strength is also its most notable weakness. While the pre-merge boots and token chains are largely forgettable, the merge section has also one of the strongest selection of characters. We have the infamous coach, the underdog story of the lovable Jalapao 3, Tyson in his purest form alongside the snarky Aaron plus Sierra. Everyone brings something. It's this quality that makes it such a popular choice for the first season people should get into. Yes, Samoa was completely dominated by Russell, but he did completely change the landscape of Survivor. Before him, nobody had found an idol without a clue. Russell's aggressive gameplay with his idols also has notably influenced the modern Survivor era. While Russell's exposure meant almost the entirety of the cast suffered screen time-wise, it is a treat to see his in-depth breakdowns and game plans. I have called out the Heroes vs Villains cast for its weird picks, such as Candace and Sugar being considered heroes, however it's undeniable the casting is fantastic. A large portion of this cast defined the prior 10 years of Survivor, and the fact they got so many big names was honestly remarkable. Nicaragua is a very hot and cold season. Some hate it, but you must admit it has some of the wackiest moments we've seen on Survivor. Between Holly trashing Dan's shoes, Marty calling himself a chess grandmaster, Dan sitting on a Jan's seat, as well as literally anything that came out of Tyrone's mouth. Redemption Island was an extremely dark season with a cult-like mentality that all centered around Boston Rob. But it was also great to see him dominate. It was great to see the ins and outs of his strategy. As someone who studies aspects of human psychology, such as myself, it was also extremely interesting seeing him bring parts of game theory, such as the prisoner's dilemma, into Survivor. South Pacific was another game with a cult-like mentality, but again the winner was the best part. I feel Sophie has grown on most of us since Winners at War, but it's impressive seeing her blend into a group she had barely any relations with. Also, who could not forget her extremely snarky moments? While the complete domination of Kim irked viewers, it is impressive seeing her running the game start to finish in one world with very few hiccups. For many people, me included, she is considered the best winner in Survivor. In one world we get to see her manipulation and social skills on full display, which strategy fans will appreciate. The Philippines displays a fantastic storyline between Denise and Malcolm. Between them outliving everyone on their tribe, they came together despite their archetypal differences, and both put up extremely impressive placements for their first time playing. Denise survived every tribal council, and seeing Malcolm form such a strong bond with the Tandangs was impressive. It's tempting to put the best part of Caramoan as the three amigos, but considering they were underdogs with no chance that only had one major stint, I instead went with Cochrane's development. In South Pacific, he was a socially awkward young man that completely doomed his alliance after Ozzy saved him. It's perhaps one of the most impressive 180s from a 1.0 to 2.0 game. Blood vs. Water is the first season to utilise the concept of contestants that are blood related, competing against one another, and its success is evidenced by the fact that 1 year later they redid this theme. While it is unfair seeing veterans go up against a full tribe of newcomers, it is interesting to see the dynamics of returning players with family. I particularly enjoyed Tyson plus Rachel, Sierra and Laura, as well as Vetus alongside Aris as duos. Cagayan has perhaps the strongest newbie cast we've seen on Survivor. The strategy, entertainment and gameplay are there on full display. The strength of this cast is also evidenced by the fact there were 6 returnees, and many others that made it to late stages of casting for future seasons. 4 of these contestants have also gone on to respective final tribal councils. Considering this season is also ranked by a good chunk of the community to be their favourite season, it really shows how iconic the season 28 cast really is. Revenge is a dish best served, and Natalie Anderson, the eventual winner, executed this to perfection. Seeing her revenge arc after the Jeremy blindside is fantastic. From the final 7 and on, we have some extremely cutthroat play, and it was great seeing her successfully blindside John after it seemed he was getting the prototypical winner edit. When a cast except one person is presented as lukewarm to straight up unlikable, you're going to want the likable underdog to win. Even though the odds were slim, Mike managed to pull off the biggest immunity train ever with 5 wins and a successful idol play on the one occasion he was vulnerable. The strength of season 31 is, well, really, the idea behind its theme. I appreciated that Survivor production showed respect towards their fan base and trusted the community solely with building a cast of 20 second chancers. In fact, the second chance theme was such a success that even Jeff Probst himself has confirmed that the theme will return for a future season. For Koh Rong, I love the depth of background stories across the cast. Tai is an incredibly questionable pick for the beauty tribe until you realise he was casted for his inner beauty. In fact, Sia herself donated money to Tai in the reunion show because she recognised he was an incredible human being, and that should speak volumes to his story. We have Aubrey barely surviving the first day, juxtaposing her extremely strategic run, where fans, even to this day, still believe she should have won. Even Carl Jason, despite seeming like a stereotypical villain, had a sympathetic family life and made him a lot more three-dimensional. Millennials vs Generation X has been credited as perhaps the most strategic newbie cast in Survivor history. From the crazy idol plays to the cast going to rocks, there's lots of precise strategy to enjoy, and the fact Survivor started casting more superfans in following seasons can be attributed to the success of this very season. Even Jeff Probst himself has praised the gameplay. While Gamechangers justifiably gets a bad rep every round of gameplay, up until the second swap was jaw-dropping. Sierra being the first boot, the downfall of Tony, and JT getting eliminated 3-2 with an idol in his pocket is pure insanity. Don't even get me started on the Malcolm Tribal. While the final 2 pre-merge rounds grind the season to a halt, and the merge is nothing to write home about, the start is still super enjoyable. Ben winning at Triple H was disappointing from a gameplay standpoint, but even I can't deny, when I discount the viewers being robbed of a Chrissy, Ryan, Dev in Final 3, that Ben is a fun winner for the series. His scrappy underdog nature in the final few rounds, finding idol after idol, and being saved by fire making is intense TV. Whether you love or hate Ben from a gameplay standpoint, you can't deny seeing a heroic Marine fight against the odds doesn't put a smile on your face. Ghost Island put all its stock into Dominic and Wendell at the expense of about 70% of the cast. While I hate this editing decision, it does have a sizable payoff in the fact that the two were portrayed as neck and neck in the edit, only for it to end in a 5-5 tie. Considering this is the first time a tie has ever occurred in Survivor, it is a surreal moment. David vs Goliath has an extremely consistent cast. Even the more under-edited contestants brought something to the table. The narratives were some of the strongest in the Survivor franchise, the gameplay was insane, and the best part was, unlike some other Game Body seasons, the entertainment was still there. We got a final 3 consisting of a man with an affinity for naming every alliance, a man who is filmed drunkenly stumbling around in a forest, and Angelina's existence is superb. There is a reason a good chunk of the community has made comments saying they wouldn't mind this entire cast playing again. While Chris's win angered many fans, his return to the game made the finale action-packed with entertainment. The final 6 he convinces Lauren to play the idol on him, the final 5 he then voted her out, and then he gives up immunity to take Devons out at 4 for the first time in Survivor history. Island of the Idols was a season. And now into Winners at War, where, no. So although Island of the Idols is an extremely dark season, it has perhaps the best pre-merge from a group of newbies. There are so many power shifts alongside shocking blindsides. It really is disappointing the merge was so terrible, because I feel people as a result forget how good the pre-merge was. Having an entire cast of winners facing off against each other was something fans were hopeful for, but due to the extremely limited cast size, we thought there was no chance of it happening. Until season 40 happened and introduced a cast of 20 winners facing off against each other. The fact CBS managed to pull this off was insane, and seeing returning arcs like Rob plus Parvati, Jeremy and Natalie alongside Cops R Us was just incredible. Modern Survivor and I, well, we're kind of on the new phone who dis phase. But something I have to credit 41 with is giving Shan the closest thing to a villain edit we've seen in Modern Survivor. I'll admit I was lukewarm on Shan while 41 was airing, and while I don't agree with some of her out of the game statements, it's hard to deny she was an entertaining figure that was willing to embrace the villain role. Now there were multiple seasons without a true villain, it makes me appreciate Shan as a contestant on the show even more. Marianne was a super unique winner for the show, and almost everyone, when talking about Survivor 44, almost instantly brings her up. Very rarely do we see someone as transparent as Marianne, and it was amazing seeing her embrace her goofy side in confessionals or during Island Life. On the topic of Modern Survivor, the Cody blindside will probably go down as the biggest blindside of Survivor 41 and beyond. Yes, Survivor 43 had a stagnant power structure, but seeing Jesse flip that on his head by blindsiding his closest ally with his own idol, while burning Carla's idol, is an insane round of gameplay. The final season, as of recording, is Survivor 44, and while by far it gave us the most fun alliance of the Modern Survivor seasons. The Tika 3, consisting of Jam Jam, Carolyn and Carson, were incredibly entertaining personalities that also dominated the game. Despite Survivor 44's flaws, mostly through the Modern Survivor's ideologies, the Tika 3 remains the biggest redeeming factor of the season, and maybe it's the only Modern Survivor season I've heard a substantial chunk of the community say they've actually enjoyed. But if you have any different ideas for the best part of a Survivor season that I missed out, let me know in the comments below. Check out this video where I discuss the most horrendously budget challenges in Survivor history. Have a great day, and peace!